So if you watched the previous video, you saw that I had a catastrophe with my tractor, all that started from a small hole in one of my coolant lines that allowed all the coolant leak out. So I would like to have a discussion about making a sensor that would alert you when you run out of coolant. Not that it's too hot, but that you have no coolant. So my idea, what I've been thinking about, is to cut the lower coolant hose and put a coupling in there, and they make this. I've got a link to it, I'll show you. They make this, and it has a little port in it where you can screw in some type of a sensor. Okay, so then they make this sensor. So I'm thinking, if that sensor works the way that I think it does, I'm thinking the outer part of it will screw into that coupling, and so that outer nut and the coupling will then be charged negatively, which all of the coolant should be charged negatively because it's running through the engine. But anyway, it would be right there, and then that little point on the bottom of the sensor would pick that up right there locally and send it to a relay. So I'm thinking, even if it does, it is going to move some, electrons or whatever around in there, and if it does that, surely it'll draw them from that coupling and not from somewhere else in the engine. I don't really know. So that's what I'm asking you about. Now, I know nothing about this sensor, but it appears to me, because it's just two wires, that it's like maybe they're putting negative in the top and they're reading it off the bottom, and if it's down in coolant, then it's connecting. That's what I'm thinking. And then just read a ground off of it. And so if I'm getting ground off of that inner prong, not the outer part, but off the inner prong, if I'm getting ground off of that, I'll take just a tiny little milliamps to run a relay. So what I'll do is I'll use those tiny little milliamps to open a relay, so that if the wire gets cut, it'll close the relay and the warning light will come on. So we'll use some little milliamps, might have to trip like a MOSFET or some kind of transistor or something. I'll have to figure it out so I don't use up very much electricity, because I'm worried about, the only thing I'm worried about with this thought process is I don't want to somehow introduce any kind of galvanic action, or whatever that word is, inside my brand new engine, and trying to avoid some other issue, I totally ruin the inside of my engine by galvanic action or whatever. But I'm thinking this is probably how this sensor works anyway. I don't know that for a fact, and there's got to be, your whole engine is negative because it's bolted to the frame. So there's got to be, and you've got hot coolant running through it that's got different salts in it, and it's running past aluminum and cast iron and steel and copper, and so there's got to be some traces of that already kind of going on, but the coolant's supposed to keep that from happening, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. So I'm asking you guys if you have any experience with this, and I'm not really looking for somebody to just go, you're an idiot for doing that. If you've got some ideas, I'm interested in those. So anyway, in the comments, if you've got some experience with this or some ideas, or you understand how this sensor works, or you've got a better idea. They do have some systems that you can buy, but they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And I know I just spent $13,000 on a new engine, so even if I spent $1,000 on a sensor, it would be good insurance, but it's probably never going to happen again. It's never happened to me before, and I've been running tractors my whole life. So anyway, if you got any ideas, let me know. I don't know if I'll actually go down this road and do it or not, but we'll see. I would be interested in your input. All right, thank you for watching.